The judge is on his way? I mean, I don't have anything here.
No, well, usually he says sometimes.
Are they gonna turn us on?
Yeah, he's ready.
Didn't you say Ready. go? Brandon, we're ready.
There he goes.
Okay, let's call the meeting of the inspectors of the Carbon County Jail to order. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, are there any guests present? No guests. These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of preparing accurate written minutes. Recordings are overwritten following approval of the minutes, eliminating all unofficial records of these proceedings. I indicated there were no guests, so we'll move on to approval of the minutes for the meeting held on March 19th, 2025.
Motion approved.
Motion by Rocky, is there a second?
Second?
Second by Wayne, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Executive session, I think we announced that when we came back in the meeting last time. So we'll move on to reports of committees, maintenance report.
Allstate was in to pump out the grinder pit, put the dweller reports in, Sykes Brothers in for their monthly service. We changed the indoor filters of the dog shelter. Carbon Engineering was in to look at the parking lot. KFS was in for an intercom issue. We changed out the outdoor filters and washed the washable filters at the dog shelter. And we had a service tech in for the body scanner.
Okay. Any questions relating to the maintenance report? All right, thank you. Work release report.
Good afternoon, everyone. Submitted is the monthly work release report. This month, we had a total of 6 inmates on the work release program. The revenues for the month include $1,375 from the board, court costs of $120, inmate payments of $1,463.38, and finally escrow account $70. Also submitted to the board is the monthly in-house work program.
Anybody have any questions on the work release report? All right, thank you, Mr. Schubeck. Plan of Action Committee, I don't think we have any report. Warden's report.
Okay, the warden's report is from March 1st to March 31st of 2025. For the month of March, we had 67 male admissions, 14 female admissions for a total of 81. Our releases were 63 males and 15 females for 78. Our average daily population for March was 147 inmates. Current population as of 3/31 was 149 inmates with 125 males and 24 females. As of March 31st, we have had 243 total admissions to the jail. Our transport report, we had 5 hospital runs, 2 specialists, 8 to the cardiologist, for a total of 15 transports. We had 6 days with staff did hospital duty on inmate who was hospitalized.
Anybody else have any questions for the warden under the warden's report? Entertain a motion to approve the warden's report.
So move.
Motion made, is there a second?
Second.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Do we need an executive session?
Yeah.
Do you want to do it at the end of the meeting? All right, we'll move that to the end of the meeting. And then we'll go to the personnel, or I need a motion to approve the personnel report. Everybody's got a copy of the personnel report.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Kayla, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Wayne. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Old business. Only thing I think I would have is, Bob, how are we on that SOP for, the MAT program? Did you get that other stuff I sent over to you?
Well, I saw the stuff that you forwarded from CMP. but
Yeah.
I haven't gotten anything from Prime Care.
I thought they were supposed to send that.
They were supposed to send.
We reminded them yesterday.
Well. We gotta get something from Prime Care. The level of concern is that I don't think that you want, in a situation like this, Carbon Monroe Pike doing the initial intakes and determinations of what should be. That should come from a medical doctor's standpoint, and we still don't have our full complement of what they had in the agreement that we had.
And
So
I
unless
think-
we get something with them,
Yeah, when we met, I think we made it pretty clear, we need that. And I think we more or less stressed that we were gonna do the injectables, and that's what's gonna be our plan.
how was it, Bob, with the stuff that you got from the other counties? Was that more consistent with what we were looking at?
Yeah.
Could we-
It's clear that Vivitrol is the default to go to, and, okay, if somebody comes in, they have a prescription,
Okay.
something that they need to be stepped down, that's a different story, but, yeah, we shouldn't be introducing others.
Based on what you got from Carbon Monroe Pike and what you have here now, are you able to develop an SOP for us, say probably for the next meeting, or if we get a little sooner, that we could schedule something?
I was hoping that it would come from Prime Care and I could just
All right.
make it if necessary, because they have a legal department and medical. I'm not.
On the legal
medical
step,
trained,
all right. So how
I
do-
don't feel comfortable.
How do you guys wanna handle getting Prime Care to give us this, since we've
Well, I think
dealt
we're-
with it at a meeting and we've dealt with it
Yeah, we're just gonna have to
personally?
have it, and they have to have it by the next meeting, or a week before that we can
Do we
review
send a
it.
letter to them?
I would,
Is there a motion?
because I think we pressed it pretty good that what we wanted.
Yeah, and
There
then
was
you
no
followed up
question.
with it, and they just basically ignored it.
Yeah.
So we'll do a letter.
Well, when you said you followed up with them yesterday, what'd they say?
They, well, it wasn't with the guy, Tom, the guy that was on the video. He wasn't there, but it was with Kelly, and she said she didn't realize that he had to send something. I thought it was pretty clear, but
Yeah, unless I,
Well, Do we have his name? Because this is like he wasn't the guy that was in our joint meeting that we had. Remember when we had that meeting? He wasn't the one sitting there, so we had somebody different on that meeting.
I can get his
See if
name
you can
for
find a name and then,
He emailed the group after the last meeting.
did he?
Yeah.
All right, I'll check on that, and I'll do the letter. It'll come from my office then. I'll just do it. Okay. Does anybody else have anything under old business? How about new business?
Wait, quick question.
Yeah.
No problem with you doing the letter, but is the letter coming from the district magistrate's office?
District Attorney's Office?
District attorney's office?
No.
Or is it coming from the chairman of the?
I'm gonna probably have it on my letterhead, cause I have a letter, but I'm gonna indicate that I'm the president of the prison board, and I'm gonna sign it as president of the prison board.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
That's the only letter, we don't have prison board letterhead.
Right.
So I'll just do it on mine, but indicate that I'm writing it in that capacity
Yeah,
as the
because I'm
president.
just saying, if it came from the district attorney, it could imply something different.
No, I'm doing it in that capacity.
Okay.
I think that's understood
Yeah.
too, but it'll be from the language of that. Yeah, because there's no criminal implications or anything like
You know,
that.
somebody
We're not
get-
threatening anything like that.
No.
The county signs the contract, should we do two letters, one
Do you-
signed by the
that's what I was
commissioners?
thinking, maybe we should send them 2 letters.
Okay,
We signed the
One
In an
from you.
email, one,
Contracts with us, right? We
right,
signed
contracts
the
with you, if you want to sign that on your behalf, and I'll just do it as a friendly reminder so I won't make it look like that there's any force of law behind anything I'm writing, but that's not what it is. Okay. Anything else under old business? All right, new business, we got the PREA audit and the PREA hotline. You want to take the PREA hotline first?
PREA hotline is a telephone, a way for inmates to report PREA violations. They can report them to us through inmate requests, through talking to sergeants, when they, lieutenants, us when we do PREA rounds or something like that. But they also have the ability to jump on a hotline from a DOC to report a PREA violation. The DOC in turn then gets right back to us with those violations, but a hotline has to be established.
just a question with that. It still comes back to you to investigate, so why are we having a hotline that they could call in, and then it comes back to you to investigate when those things could be reported right to you? Do you want that?
Yeah, it could come like they don't wanna tell a staff member. They don't wanna put in a sealed envelope, whatever, they wanna file a complaint with the DOC, and that they gotta know it's coming back to us, but it would go back to the PRIA coordinator right away.
Okay.
And is that something they have a right to do? Is that a, yeah. so-
We're ahead of the curve on, from our discussions on PRIA. A lot of these places don't have it. We have more, isn't it just about everybody certified except the newer people that just came in are PRIA certified. So that's real important, and not a lot of correctional facilities have that. So, if you feel the hotline, I think it takes you out of the equation. It looks like you're doing a little bit more, and it puts us even further on that cutting edge with it. Because you're right, what you're reporting is a rape prevention.
I get the benefits, but what's the downfalls?
Well, now there are, with anything that you have, when there's that's a legitimate thing, it's nice that it went up. But when you start getting into anybody accusing anybody, because you get those on anything, now you got DOC involvement. So they know how many reports were in, whether they were founded or unfounded. They're looking at you. These are the people that do our certifications and everything. Even though we're all PRIA certified, you were opening a door to allow a lot of complaints to come in that may not be founded, that gives a bad reflection on really what we're doing or what's taking place at that facility. We have a lot that have mental health issues that are in our facility that in other facilities, they might not be staying in there. They might have resources within the county that they can go out to. You get a guy like that files about 6 different ones. I mean, I think we have people that have accused people of being with the judges and everything else, and those are complaints that they will call to the hotline and will go up, and now you're on the radar or DOC, whatever happened to that particular case. That's the downside I see with it.
So who's gonna handle all those complaints and those?
They'll come back to our PRIA coordinator.
Which they would if they put it in a sealed envelope and
either
handed
way,
it to us.
they would
Yeah, but
come
now we
back.
gotta answer them plus the department.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know, no.
I was in Luzerne when we implemented PRIA, and the PRIA hotline went in. And in the beginning, there were a lot of nonsense, nuisance complaints. But after a while, it became a valuable tool, and it wasn't used to abuse staff.
Are we having a problem with PRIA right now?
We're small, we don't really have a whole lot in the way of PRIA.
So well then, do you see a reason why to change that?
I think it's the law that there has to be a PRIA hotline.
In order to be compliant with PRIA, you have to pass
There has to be some kind of a reporting system in place.
you have to be audited. And in order to pass the audit, you have to have an anonymous
so
report.
this goes right in with these Italians. So, we're on. Here, I'm in trouble now. You're gonna have to appoint a new president. All right, so, that you asked what the downside was, but obviously there's more of a mandate.
And if you have to do it, if it's something that if somebody's crying wolf, wouldn't that determine that they might have mental issues and it might help getting people placed somewhere? I don't know. Would help.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know.
I mean, how does it affect funding? How does it affect? No, how does it affect our funding if,
Oh, if you're not PRIA compliant, it can affect any federal money you get.
Yeah, and if it's the law that they have the right to do that, because somebody might be uncomfortable
there-
giving it to somebody.
We have a reporting mechanism in
Yeah.
place. I don't think it requires a hotline, but here, there's a more formal means that, because they may say, when they do the audit, that our system of a sealed envelope placed in this box isn't quite sufficient enough for reporting. Where here you got a hotline, and you just dial the
And then
number.
we're gonna have somebody suing us that my letter didn't get to them. This way
Right,
it
this-
gets on and it's
Correct.
over with.
Or it was ignored or hidden, or we never got it, that kind of stuff. Here it's documented by a third party that the complaint was made.
And if there are nonsense complaints, then we refer them for prosecution to We did that up at Luzerne when we first got it, and then it kind of eliminated the nonsense components as well.
Okay.
So I guess we would entertain a motion to enter into, well, it's a contract, so the commissioners would have to do it. It would be a motion to recommend to the commissioners to execute the agreement between the Carbon County and the Department of Corrections relating to a PREA hotline, as submitted after review by the solicitor. That's what the motion would say, I would suggest. Does somebody want to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Rocky, is there a second?
Second.
Right, motion made and second, any questions on that? That's up to you guys, and so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Okay, and then along with those lines, there's a consulting and investigation firm, Patrick Zerpoli, and they have a proposal to do the PREA auditing of the Carbon County Correctional Facility, and you're indicating that a PREA audit must be done on an annual basis?
This will actually be our first one. They gave us some time to start up, but this is our first audit.
Okay, so we're required to do an audit. Was there a, cost of the audit was $4,000 with an additional $1,000 charged if the facility enters a corrective action plan? Corrective action period. Is this one of the only companies doing it, or are there not a lot?
There's not a lot to this.
And this is Millenville, PA. Do we need, is this something, because it's $5,000, it doesn't, it's specialized services, it doesn't have to be bid? And you don't, did we do a request for proposals? Is this an RFP to get it? Do you think you need RFPs on it? 4,000 isn't that overboard with it? All right, and then I guess if we're here and we're at this pace, and I know we need to get this done, then I guess if somebody would make a motion, once again, to refer the proposal for the PREA audit and enter into any agreement after review by the solicitor, so it refer to the commissioners, so.
Who determines if we're in a corrective action period?
The auditor.
They would.
Well, isn't that kind of odd? They're doing the audit for 4,000 and they're gonna tell you, well, you're in a problem, now you owe us $1,000 more?
He's not eligible in violation of any PREA regulations,
Wasn't that like being the judge and the sheriff?
I suppose.
Well, I'm not in favor of that.
I think you need to clarify that. I think is if you're entering into a corrective action period with the Department of Corrections on your PREA, isn't it? Doesn't, you have to be in compliance with PREA through the Department of Corrections. So if they find something wrong with the audit and then, and then there's a Department of Corrections, corrective action plan that's put in place, then they charge the extra $1,000 to supervise, or to audit you through that. I'm thinking, so maybe what we'll do is we'll, have the solicitor check into what they mean for the $1,000 that's charged. We'll do a recommendation, subject to that $1,000 charge. Recommendation is submitted to the commissioners. So a motion would be in order to that effect.
Motion.
Motion by the sheriff, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Rocky, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed?
I oppose.
Okay. Opposed to going to the commissioners?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
we should,
all right.
yeah.
I want that.
I want something more,
We want that 1,000 resolved. It's subject to that $1,000 being
yeah, I
resolved
just
to
don't
the
like that you're gonna tell
satisfaction
me
of
if
the
I'm in a
commissioners.
corrective action plan, that's kind of
Okay.
like, you get the right to raise the bill.
Okay. And I'd have to abstain being Italian and be an Italian
Here we go
firm.
again.
Don't want to be accused of anything.
Not Dutchman. What happens with that?
That's all, I mean, I just don't, you know what I mean? It just doesn't.
Okay. All right, with those two things, any is there anything else under new business, anything anybody wants to bring up? How are we on our meal plan up there?
Pretty well. When is the walkthrough? Next Tuesday. I think we got, what was it, 4 people inquiring so far, I think. So next Tuesday will be the walkthrough, so then we'll know from there. And it looks like it's going pretty good. They have different questions, but we're sort of changing it around a little bit because before we were paying for meals that we weren't using. So we're gonna try a different approach to it.
Okay. All right. And do we want to do the next meeting up at the prison? Are we within that time frame? You guys want to do that?
I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm fine with that, I'm good with that.
But if we go up to the prison, we're not gonna be on this videotape thing. There's no room for that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, then you,
I mean, you're not required, but it's a public, you know what, we're holding a public meeting and we can't let everybody into the prison.
no, I think then you just
I
stay here.
think we
I
need
think
to
you stay here, yeah.
I think we should, but I think we should, give the opportunity, if we're gonna go, when you're getting stuff together with that, let everybody know, at least we could get a tour of the prison again, and then maybe,
Yeah.
Right.
maybe do the walkthrough and then check the meals out.
Yeah.
So we'll set up a date for that, because it's important for us to get up there, and we should do that. I suggest we do that semi-annually, we should be up there twice a year to see, when we're in charge of a prison that we're never in.
Yeah, I just-
We have been in, I mean,
Yeah,
but we're
but I
not
mean,
in as we were before COVID hit. Okay, so that's that. No correspondence. Is there any further business? And then I'll adjourn this meeting.
You got executive session.
Executive session. That's right, I'm sorry. We're gonna adjourn to an executive session, and then we will come back in on the record. We're all done with executive session?
Yeah.
Who's managing this machine? Caleb?
Brandon, Caleb,
Brandon?
there you go.
All right. All right, we're back on the record. We were in executive session for, one, a personnel matter, and two, issues relating to security at the prison, which are exempt from sunshine law with regard to the meeting. So we discussed those matters with no required action to be taken. With that, declare the meeting of the Board of Inspectors of the Carbon County Prison to be adjourned.